Whether we'd like to admit it or not, we are responsible for everything we buy. Otherwise, there would be no reason to produce an item or product. Too often, when we buy a product, we don't think of what went into making it. We forget that much of what we buy depletes non-renewable natural resources. So many of these resources are quickly running out and cannot be replaced. We also might forget who makes what we buy and the conditions under which these individuals work and live. In short, these men, women, and children toil in oppressive conditions we would normally describe as slavery. Who would work in such conditions, you ask? Only those who had no other choice. The vast majority of products we buy, from household goods to countless electronic devices, are made in third and fourth world countries. While the manufacturers make billions in profit, our planet suffers irreparable damage, and those who actually make the products we purchase suffer immeasurably every day. Quite simply, our planet and our people can no longer support such ravenous buying habits. To deplete our precious resources, including human resources, simply to support corporate capitalism at its most oppressive and selfish, will no longer work. Before very long, we will simply run out of resources. Ask yourself, is this the way we want to treat our brothers and sisters and our very source of life, the planet Earth? You are responsible for everything you buy. Personal consumption expenditures in the U.S. have doubled since 1988, according to the Department of Labor. Among the countless items consumed, the astronomical increase in the sale and use of electronic devices, personal computers, and more recently, handheld electronic gadgets are consuming the planet's non-renewable resources at an increasingly unsustainable rate. Beyond being a resource drain, these purchases are having a dramatic effect on our culture and health. A recent Kaiser Family Foundation study found that young people between the ages of 8 and 18 years spend an average of 53 hours per week using electronics, 77% of this time watching television and using handheld devices and computers. Aside from the documented behavioral issues, ADD, ADHD, stress, anxiety, health issues, obesity, addiction, sedentary lifestyle, and lower academic performance related to such activities, the demand for these electronics is still increasing. Statistics for adults 18 to 65 indicate that on average, an individual spends over 8.5 hours each day watching television, talking on the phone, working on the computer, texting, emailing, playing video games, etc. Apart from electronic devices, individual consumption on the planet is increasing rapidly. As far back as 2004, the State of the World report noted that 12% of the global population, all living in North America and Western Europe, accounted for 60% of the personal global consumption. Our overconsumption is not making us as happy as we might believe. The Happy Planet Index measures how happy a country is by comparing resource consumption, well-being, and life expectancy. In 2009, the United States was ranked 114 out of 143 countries surveyed. Perhaps even more importantly, most of our electronic devices and countless other products are not produced in the United States. They're mined and manufactured by individuals who live in dire poverty, in toxic environments, and too often work under conditions we might well consider slavery. Paramount among these conditions is exposure to toxic compounds, including dioxin, and living in communities with no adequate toxic waste disposal, inadequate food and water supplies, and limited or no health care. For example, the production of silicon chips for computers, produced almost entirely in third world countries, exposes workers to the toxic elements arsenic, boron, and phosphorus, all needed to make chips conduct electricity. According to the World Health Organization, working with silicon alone is responsible for thousands of deaths per year. The third world workers, who produce many of our consumer goods, work for what we might consider slave wages. For example, Haitian sweatshop workers producing clothing for the Disney Corporation earn a wage of about $15 per week for a 6-day, 8-hour per day week under grueling circumstances, harassment, and unsafe conditions. Even the beloved Steve Jobs ignored his factories in Shenzhen, China, a mammoth facility producing Apple computers, where job-related suicide claimed at least 12 lives in 2010. Employees work in totalitarian-style production line conditions 12 or more hours a day. Injured workers are fired. Workers are housed in overcrowded dormitories. Children as young as 12 are employed, and 70 or more hour work weeks are often and the only way to earn a basic living wage. Perhaps the most frightening fact here is that while our global population is growing over 80 million per year to an estimated population of 8.9 billion by 2050, our non-renewable resources are diminishing quickly, and per capita consumption in most all countries is increasing. Much of this growth will take place in third world countries, regions already resource-stressed by population growth and severe health conditions, and declining agricultural yield. So far, no one has a plan or can agree on one to address this 200-year-old problem, especially with free market economies and self-serving values working against us. We, as individuals, are responsible for everything we buy, especially the conditions under which the devices we purchase are made, from mining to construction to retailing to disposal. This unpopular leveling of responsibility, or some would say guilt, on the individual is unavoidable. If we, as individuals, purchase products voluntarily, we are responsible for the conditions under which the workers live and work, as well as the natural resources consumed and the effects on the environment. So how long can we keep doing this? How long can you keep doing this?